gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed. I'm your host Saieed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. Remember, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Real Talk with Saieed Ali on Facebook, TT Real Talk on YouTube. Subscribe and share. Remember, viewers, if you're on the go and you can't look at us from your home, check us out on your phone or tablet or computer in the office. Remember that, or even on the go. We're always live on Facebook. So, Trinidad and Tobago, Chief Secretary Saieed Ali says a date for the THA election will be announced soon. Speaking at the launch of a UNICEF program in Port of Spain on Thursday, he reminded that the window in which the election must be called lies between January 12th and February 12th. Reflecting on his administration performance over the last 4 years, Mr. Augustine noticed that a significant amount of resources was invested on the island.
Ensuring that we keep the Tobago economy afloat, ensuring that we kept people employed, that we embark on new public infrastructure projects, that we invest in young people and children. We have spent more on school repairs in a 4-year period than any previous administration, spent more on gratuities and increments than any other administration. We raised the salaries of European CPF workers long before it was raised here in Trinidad.
Sounds like Tobagonians living better than Trinidadians. The Chief Secretary said his administration delivered on their mantra to fix Tobago and they can only get better. Well, according to Fali, like they are living better than Trinidadians. Imagine CPAP getting more money in Tobago than Trinidad. Island had to be doing good. Also, Minister of Trade, Investment and Tourism, Satyakama Maharaj, has announced that Trinidad and Tobago will soon have regular flights to Ghana. I hope we had to go and bring no Edos and yam seed, you know. I just hope so. On Thursday, post-cabinet media briefing, Minister Maharaj said the inaugural flights is set to take place early in 2026. New destination.
Initially, we are looking at an Ethiopian airline charter plane in consultation with the people from Ghana. Going to Ghana now takes 2 days. The Public Bank has around 40 branches in Ghana, and they always are very concerned when they have to go and visit, because that 2-day trip is very expensive and it's also time consuming. And they're very pleased, everyone is pleased that we are exploring the opening up of the African market.
Once the ticket price is right, we head in. And nevertheless, business Trinidad and Tobago, once a businessman decides to expand outside, it doesn't matter the cost of the ticket. If he wants his company to go there, he will be there. Just like we'll talk in Guyana. Guyana just now will be one of the best Caribbean country. Who's there? Real Talk Financing is there. Real Talk Equipment is there. Just now Real Talk Credit Union will be there also. So the whole Real Talk branding, finance will be there. So Trinidad and Tobago, Lavantil West MP Karim Marcel has criticized the lack of consultation amidst the government decision to block carnival events at sporting facility. I don't think the government has to talk to the opposition concerning this. It's not lack of consultation. No fets in sporting arena means no fet in sporting arena. No fetting, no party, no break bottle. Imagine that, eh? But nevertheless, he was speaking ahead of Friday's Senate sitting. Listen to this.
When we hear soca music playing or pan playing, we don't consider it noise. We consider it part of our culture. Of course, there are always both sides to the story, and it requires consultation. How was it that the entertainment industry, the promoters, the artists, the influencers, all of these sectors of persons were important to the UNC up until April 28th, and right after, the Prime Minister cannot even see fit to have consultation with these people?
So Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Marcel wants consultation. Consultation to what? But nevertheless, viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but still locked on. We have a planned show for all you tonight. You're going to love it.
We'll be right back.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com. When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, the man who said he will war for the CPF workers, he also is saying the decision taken by the government shows a continued pattern of cancellation of Trinidad and Tobago culture and important events. Listen to Marcel, we'll talk after.
I think that is a slap in the face for our culture. It is a slap in the face for our people, and it is a continued effort. First with the cancellation of Independence Parade, and then the hypocrisy concerning fireworks for one event as opposed to another, the cancellation, the complete increase in terms of the alcohol prices, 100% tax again, impacting again the very same industry.
So I don't know what Marcel was trying to get at, but how could he say, right, the cancellation of Trinidad and Tobago culture and important events? You're in a sporting arena, sports, but you want to have culture events. You're in a sport. So imagine if you're in the hospital. You got a horse racing in the hospital, Marcel? And you're supposed to be an educated lawyer. The Prime Minister is putting down her foot. If the arena is for sport, let it be for sport. I don't know how it is, I can't understand English, you know. And it's English you're talking. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, straight into our current affairs segment, viewers. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar says her counterpart in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, should focus on accounting to his people for his 24 years in office rather than on the United National Congress. In a social media post, or a social media message on Friday, she rubbished claims from the SVG Prime Minister that UNC operatives are involved in his country general election and are more motivated by access to lands. She categorically refuted and rejected the allegations as Prime Minister Gonzalez to identify the UNC person he claims are in St. Vincent or to stop gaslighting his citizen. So, can the St. Vincent Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, say which UNC individual is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines concentrating about land? I mean, if you made a statement, come out and call names. Come out and call names. Say which UNC person it is in St. Vincent is interested. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, the PM Persad-Bissessar also stated that the investigation into the acquisition of 3 high-rise luxury HDC apartments at Victoria Keys have nothing to do with the St. Vincent and the Grenadines general election, but to determine whether any fraudulent declarations were made. Verify the sources of funds for the 3 acquisition and identify how his family member were able to obtain a favorable rent-to-own agreement 2 days after the April 28 general election before her government was installed. So, who is pulling, I can't say strings again, you know. Who is pulling the cables now? That's what we want to find out. Is the declaration false? Is it fraudulent? And who signed off on it? After the PNM lost and the UNC government were not sworn in as yet. So who signed off on these things? Trinidad and Tobago, fraud is a serious thing, you know. Not much would understand how serious fraud is, you know. But it is a serious thing. In Trinidad and Tobago, it's a serious, serious thing. I know about it. I know about it. Trust me, I know about it. So we are going to hear more on this story in the coming weeks, Trinidad and Tobago, to know if declarations were false, if it was handpicked, if it was given as a favor. In the coming weeks, we're going to know when the investigations are over. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to hear more on the Children's Hospital, if it's going to intake children as it were built to do. More when we return.
We'll be right back.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern, because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, great news for the children and the environs in Couva. The mothers, the fathers, the people in and around the Couva area, because the Children's Hospital will be fully operational in the coming weeks. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar on Thursday at the Parliament Rotunda Gallery while delivering the feature address of the UNICEF World Children Day event. The development is part of the government's continued effort to build a nation where every child can thrive.
We will have that beginning work in December of this year, 2025. We'll have that hospital operationalized, up and running, dedicated to pediatric and adolescent care, standing as a national commitment to dignity and children's health.
So Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister also noted that in keeping with her government mandate, laptop distribution for all students entering secondary school has started.
You will remember way back in my first incarnation as Prime Minister, I had promised that every single child would have a place in a secondary school. We kept that promise then. And today I promised you that every child entering secondary school will get a laptop. We have begun that distribution.
Congratulations to the students who have entered secondary school and are receiving a laptop. Well, one mandate has been achieved. The other one will be the Couva Children's Hospital in the coming weeks. Let's wait and see how long. When they say the coming weeks, it could be many weeks, you know. So we just have to wait and see. But nevertheless, we're moving along. Leader of the lower house, Barry Pazara, says it took too long for the TTPS to issue a detention order for the woman who shared the coordinates of the Prime Minister's home to Venezuelan official amidst geopolitical tension. He was speaking to reporters on Friday. Listen to this.
we have seen time and time again public officials, and you saw it happen in the former administration as well. There's only so far that you can go in terms of putting the lives of public officials and private citizens at risk by putting up the Prime Minister's residence. Her location puts her at a tremendous risk, and therefore that's why I said it took long in coming, but it is justifiable. People must be held accountable for their actions.
It comes after a detention order was issued for a woman named Olive Green Jack, who posted an image of the Prime Minister's Philippine home on social media, calling on Venezuelans to target it. The order, which was made on November 12th and gazetted on Wednesday, said she should be held for her social media posts. On November 2nd, Green Jack made and published a video in a manner likely to be prejudicial to public safety. Listen to this.
Defense Minister of Venezuela, me can't speak Spanish, but I want to tell you something. You say we go get a response. Please, it's not TNT revving on oil. It's UNC. Please send your assassinator or assassinators and deal with the party itself. The 35 cabinet ministers, deal with them. Just that 35.
So Trinidad and Tobago, is she telling the Venezuelan government to send assassination to the assassination individuals, to assassinate the 35 member of parliament that is governing the country presently? People sick already and sad, yes? Serious. Let me tell you something. From the time somebody said they're threatening me, or you send a threat to me, I just thinking I knocking your door, you know. I telling you, I coming and knocking on your door one time, me ain't sticking. So I believe TTPS really they took too long to act on it. I mean, the intelligence unit is supposed to pick up on that. Cybercrime unit who works for the Prime Minister's office supposed to pick up on all threats coming to the Prime Minister. So I would say something like this: Alexander, you need to have your team more ready and more swift to deal with things coming. So when somebody is saying that, you know what, they're sending a threat to the Prime Minister, the President, they're asking somebody to come and assassinate them. No, within that 2 Junes, pass and pick them up. Pass and pick them up. Now, we're going back to Marcel. Listen to this, Karim Marcel is condemning the government failure to review the contracts for more than 20 HGC workers as inhumane. His comment follows the Housing Development Corporation announcement where 26 staff from the HGC subsidiary construction company limited have already had contract lapse without renewal. Additionally, at least 50 maintenance providers contracts will end by the end of 2025 as part of an urgent effort to fix a decade of several financial mismanagement. MP Marcel was speaking ahead of Friday's sitting. Listen to this.
It just has been a pattern of this administration with complete disregard for the most vulnerable people, as well as even our working class. And speaking about having 3 ministers in one ministry, and then coming to speak about tick and cow, to me, it's just contradictory. Because how do you justify having 3 ministers doing absolutely nothing, cannot account for absolutely one initiative that they have been able to execute within the last 7 months, and coming to talk about about staff being too many staff in agency.
So Trinidad and Tobago, let's talk about the tenants tenants living in the HTC house, and not too long ago, HTC were moving swiftly to get them out of the house because they could not pay their rent. How come we didn't hear Marcel talking about this? How come we didn't hear Marcel talking about the lack of mortgage payment by tenants who have to pay $100 a month or $200 a month? How we didn't hear Marcel saying this? It leaded up to millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. How Marcel didn't say the agency workers were not performing? How come we didn't hear Marcel coming out and saying that? How we ain't hearing Marcel saying, well, you know what? The PNM built houses and we gave out so much at thousands. How come we ain't hear Marcel talking about the HEC matters? How come we ain't hear Marcel talking about the thousands of HEC houses that are put down and the concrete start rotting and burglars breaking into the houses and going with the windows and the doors and the sinks and the light bulb? How come we ain't hear Marcel talking about these things? How come? You see, Trinidad and Tobago, you just have to listen carefully and then look at the action of those in power. Those are supposed to be governing Trinidad and Tobago properly. So how come all these things that I just mentioned, we never heard Marcel talk about it? How come? Do so and like so, you know. Now, HGC chairman Feroz Khan revealed that HGC posted losers of over 700 million in both 2024 and 2025 and is currently burdened by 600 million in payable, a 100 million bank overdraft and a 400 million pension deficit. Marcel said, in the lead up to the April 28 general election, the former PSA president accused the PNM of putting HGC workers' job at risk, a situation which is now happening under the current UNC-led government. Listen to this.
They were happy to see them because they felt as if they were getting 10% back pay. And a lot of the AGC employees rallied around the PSA's false hope and false cry and fell for this hoax that when UNC win, that they would win. Clearly, we are seeing every day that citizens who fell for that hoax, that they are completely regretting it day after day after day.
So Trinidad and Tobago, story 6. So Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this, Marcel saying false hope. Marcel failed to mention that their government gave them 4% or nothing. And what about the time when Klangenberg said 0 by 0? All you remember that? Nothing, nada. So to put Marcel in his place now of PSA lying to the people and his false hope, listen to this. The Public Station President Felicia Thomas has confirmed that the union has received an offer of 10% salary increase from the Chief Personnel Officer Daryl Dindial. Speaking to the media on November 21st, today, after a meeting with the CPO, Thomas said, another promise made, another promise delivered. Thomas had previously expressed skepticism over the agenda of the meeting after it was revealed that the presentation on the state of the economy would be delivered. Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this.
We have in our hand, delivered by Acting CPO Ms. Wendy Barton, an offer of 10%, which the PSA will be responding to by this evening, because as we have said, our main aim is to ensure that we close these negotiations and put some monies in our members' pockets by Christmas. And that stands.
So Trinidad and Tobago, waiting there now. Another delivery. Another delivery for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. What do you call that? Performance. It's not a 4%, you know. It's not a 5 by a 9%, you know. It's 10%. And hopefully they should get it before Christmas. Now, meanwhile, Finance Minister David Jonathan, who says all of the PSA has received its 10%, he cannot say when the public servants can expect the long-awaited back pay or how the 10% will be configured. Listen to this.
10% is a figure, but there's a process for which negotiations must take place, which is to disaggregate how that 10% is configured. So I suspect that there's still going to be a negotiation. How 10, as I said, is based on what the conversation between the CPO and the PSA is going to do.
So Trinidad and Tobago, they had talks today. They said they will get the 10%. Now let's hope that before Christmas, something happened. Because they were going for years and years and years begging to have a negotiation. Begging. They had a meeting. They said they will get the 10%. Let's just wait and see how long it will take before they actually get the 10%. Because delivery has started delivering. So Trinidad and Tobago, we are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on. When we come back, we're going to hear the new legal framework come in for classic and vintage cars. That's my department, you know. Whenever it is, more when we return.
We'll be right back.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, the government is seeking to regularize and modernize regulation when it comes to classic and antique vehicle. At Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing, Transport and Civil Aviation Minister Ali Zuku stated that a legal framework is being drafted to allow these vehicles to be used freely on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago.
Beginning with the creation of a formal classification and registry system to facilitate the safe and limited use of classic, antique, and vintage vehicles on our nation's roads. This initiative aligns with the government's strategic objective for transport modernization, heritage preservation, and tourism diversification. There will be 3 legal categories: classic motor vehicles, which will be vehicles 25 years old from the date of original manufacture; antique motor vehicles, at least 45 years old from the date of original manufacture; and vintage motor vehicles, at least 95 years old.
So Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who have US currencies and you are interested in buying an antique vehicle, well, now you could do that, Trinidad and Tobago. He said, the government is aware of citizens' concern when it comes to getting more care on the road. As a result, alternative solutions will be put in place by this coming week.
We are launching at the ministry a park and ride survey, where we are proposing a park and ride from Arima, Chaguanas, Cuba, San Fernando to Port of Spain, where persons could park their vehicles at locations, safe locations, board a PTSC bus or maxi taxi concessionaire, and come into Port of Spain and then return to their vehicle at the end of the day.
So now viewers, some more good news. Trade, Investment and Tourism Minister Satyakama Maharaj stated that increase in the age of foreign use vehicle has been approved by the cabinet. Good news for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to this.
Importation of foreign use right-hand drive private cars, that's sports utilities, SUVs, sedans, and station wagons, powered by gasoline, dieseline, or compressed natural gas, CNG, from 3 years to under 8 years.
So Trinidad and Tobago, for the lower class and the low class, the middle class, and the lower than the low class citizens in Trinidad and Tobago can be able to purchase a vehicle again. Remember when the government was here, UNC government from 2010 to 2015. I'll say it like this. CPEP workers could have been able to purchase a vehicle. That is how I would say it. So you would understand lower class could be able to purchase a vehicle or pay a loan. Cabinet also approved an annual quota assigned to registered dealer for foreign use cars who have been actively using their quota. So Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are actively using the amount of vehicle you were told to bring in, once you are consistent, you'll get an increase. I believe it's a 30% increase, if I make a mistake. So if you used to bring in 100 cars, you might bring in 120 cars now, 130 cars now. All well and good. Everybody making money. The poor man could get a vehicle to move with his family. Well, let me just hope they have some regulation to pricing. Let's hope. So staying on the trade minister, he said Trinidad and Tobago is working to build the local marine sector. Speaking in an audience of finance executives at the 16th Annual International Finance and Accounting Conference on Thursday, he noted 70% of exports from Trinidad and Tobago are energy related. Minister Maharaj highlighted one of the ways in which the local export sector is being devised. Listen to this.
The yachts coming in, those yachties used to face 20 major obstacles and going to Antigua and stuff instead. We have sat down and worked with them, and I'm happy to report that 12 of those 20 impediments have now been resolved. So we are building a viable yachting industry in this country. In fact, we're building a viable marine sector.
So when they talk about yacht, they talk about Saieed too, you know. Nevertheless. Meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago, the trade minister said the government is working to partner with the local private sectors to make it possible just for who? You and I. Listen to Maharaj.
The Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism, we have set a target of increasing non-energy exports to 50% within the next 5 years. That is local business development and diversification of the economy, and it has to be done with your guidance.
I love how he said that, you know. It has to be done with your guidance, meaning the citizens, meaning the finance people, meaning the people who could make things happen for Trinidad and Tobago. And that is where we want to go forward. The president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants for the Caribbean, Marissa, said her organization is also partnering with other sectors to transform the local financial sector. Well, you know that is my department, but listen to this.
On November 12th, we formalized a strategic partnership with the Arthur Lockjack Global School of Business to launch the Lockjack GSP ICAT Tax Academy, which will commence January 2026. This program is purposefully designed to build national capacity, elevate professional standards, and strengthen technical expertise in taxation across Trinidad and Tobago.
So Trinidad and Tobago, we're stepping in the correct direction. Imagine, they want to create a local marine sector that will be able to bring in money. Bring in TT, bring in US, bring in all different type of money. Where? Into Trinidad and Tobago. Why? Because it's long overdue. It's long overdue. The marine sector is going to go up. So which means we're going to have a lot more people dealing in the fishes and the boating industry now. The sporting. That would be so nice. It would be so nice. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, BPTT completes drilling program. Hey, this is a plus for Trinidad and Tobago, but you will hear more of it when you read it.
We'll be right back.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, BPTT has announced the completion of the Cypress 7-well drilling program, which is linked to the BPTT existing Juniper platform. Following delivery of its first gas in April 2025, 4 wells were drilled and completed at the end of 2024. With the first gas delivery in April of this year. Speaking at Thursday's post-cabinet briefing, Minister of Energy and Energy Industry Dr. Rudal Munilal expressed his pleasure that the well were completed ahead of schedule at peak. Cyprus is now projected to deliver approximately 45,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day. Listen to this.
These wells were originally planned to come online in 2026. However, in collaboration with the Ministry of Energy, BPTT was able to accelerate first gas for Phase 2 in 2025. This efficiency augurs well for our natural gas supply. At peak production, SIP is expected to deliver 45,000 barrels of oil equivalent, more or less 250 mmsc.
So viewers, he noted this project had its genesis in the People's Partnership Administration. Listen to this now.
It dates back to the incentive framework provided by the People's Partnership Administration in 2014 with the passage of the Finance Act that allowed for the accelerated capital allowances for exploration. That was passed in law in 2014, of course. We are extremely pleased with the development. The energy sector remains integral to our economy, and resources from the SIP project play an important role in strengthening our natural gas supply.
So Trinidad and Tobago, I just want to read something for you. Now, BPTT is doing well, and we want to congratulate them. 45,000 barrels more per day. Excellent, means more money in the economy. But I want to stick a pin on that until next week. We have more to come on that, right? But I want to let you listen to this thing. Remember Marcel said he would war for CPEP contractors. I remember that? Now listen to this. Attorneys for ex-CPEP contractor Eastman Enterprise Limited which is challenging the termination of over 300 contractors by the CPEP company, soon after the April 28 general election, has written to the Director of Public Prosecution, Roger Gaspar, SC, urging him to discontinue any consideration for the material referred to him by the High Court. In a letter on November 21st, Attorney Curry Marcel informed the DPP of the appeal court reversal of High Court referrals. So Trinidad and Tobago, who is standing up for the CPEP workers now? And I've been telling you all this. The contractors did not have their documents in order. Hence the reason why the UNC government fired contractors. You cannot blame a government for firing a contractor who did not have his documents in order. I've been saying this from the beginning. But the people who were employed by the contractor labeled the government. You know what the government did? The government saved millions of taxpayers' money that were going to the contractor who did not have their documents in order. And I ask all these CPEP workers on national television, why are you blaming the government for correcting what was wrong? Why not blame the P&M administration for not having their contractors have their documents in proper order? But you want to blame the UNC. So which means, were you telling the UNC, well, let the corruption continue? I believe today, the contractors want a team of lawyers that were hired by the P&M administration to fight for them in the court. I believe now the contractors are carrying that set of lawyers to court. You know why? For wrong legal advice. Imagine that now. The contractors carrying the lawyers now that were representing the CPEP contractors. They are carrying them to court now. Why? Wrong legal representation. Wrong legal advice. Imagine this, Imagine the Trinidad and Tobago. As a lawyer, Navin is a CPEP contractor. After the High Court sent the matter to the DPP, right? Navin now, they lost the matter, Navin now is a contractor. I was standing up for Navin. So Navin now going to carry me to court now because why? I gave him wrong legal advice. It's funny, It's real funny. So I want to see what Colpot go do. I want to see what Al Rawi go do. I want to see what Lala go do. I want to see what Marcel go do now. Oh gosh, come the man Trinidad and Tobago. The bacchanal cooking. The bacchanal cooking. We have Colpot to cooking and bike to ride, while we have Marcel Warren. Trinidad and Tobago, we good, We good. We better than Guyana. We good. Imagine that, The lawyers who are standing up for the contractors, now they will be taken to court by the contractors of CPEP. Who is puppeting the puppet now? Ask yourself that. Who is puppeting the puppet? Marcel was worried for the contractors only to find out. Who got the contract? Marcel, who got the contract? Come now, man. So you wasn't worrying for the CPAP contractor. You was worried to make sure that, who got the contract, Marcel? Run smoothly. That's why Trinidad and Tobago, when I talk it on television, it's because we have a video clip to back it up. Or we have documents to back it up. So when they come at me, Saeed, trust me, I leveling you. I leveling you. I closer go to court. I leveling you. You know why? We have proof, we have documents, we have evidence. I don't just come here and just brag my mouth because I have a show, you know. I come here to open your eyes. I come here for the brain cells that God gave you in your head. I come here to make sure it's working proper, so you would understand what's taking place in your own country and not somebody else's country. You're living in them country, you know, you're living here. Let me tell you something. Venezuelan president, as they say, Maduro, will not go after Trump. You know why? You know why? Trump ain't doing nothing, you know. Trump ain't doing nothing. Maduro could never say Trump do him something. But you know who he's coming after? The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Who? His neighbor. His neighbor. Why is he coming after his neighbor? Prime Minister Kamala Prasad says, why? Because the U.S. Marines in Trinidad, Maduro forgot his good friend that there was dancing in Calabar Street down in Venezuela, signed the document where the U.S. Marine could come to Trinidad anytime. Why Maduro and blame Keith for that? Say something, Trinidad and Tobago. Why Dulce Rodriguez don't blame Keith? But hey, we was doing a deal here, Dragon Gas deal, and you signed a document to bring U.S. Marine in your country? Monkey doesn't know which branch to jump on. But I know Maduro ain't attacking Trump. They will attack UNC. Why? Because UNC don't want no drugs coming in from Venezuela to Trinidad. UNC don't want no guns coming from Venezuela to Trinidad. UNC ain't want no human trafficking taking place between Venezuela and Trinidad. So they're attacking we country. The UNC ain't picking up no millions of US dollars and carrying it down to a sanctioned country. Trinidad and Tobago's only facts all I get there, you know. Only facts. But nevertheless, viewers, we are out of time. For tonight, our rerun of this program is Monday morning. From 11:30 to 12:30, we'll be back here Monday night for another live with Saieed Ali. Until then, be safe.